The markets were cooking yesterday. We're seeing this a lot. It's a sign of a truly strong market, right? When you get like a gap down and you just completely reverse, that's a sign of like an awesome market. Yesterday was probably the best trading day I've seen in like the last, I'd say, like couple months in terms of just easiness and range. Like everything worked and everything had a lot of range. Almost everybody had basically their best day. Even if you were just like trying not to like screw up too bad, you probably would have had your best trading day in the last month or two. Just because everything, you hit everything in the red to greens and everything just started to pop. It's very rare that kind of stuff happens, like where it just works so clean. But that was like one of those days that kind of you use it to pad all the slow days in the market. So we are like really from percentage points or ticks away from all-time highs again. We're starting to see the resilience of the market, right? Short pullbacks pop up. Short pullbacks pop up. We're in a runaway train right now due to the liquidity, that's getting pumped into the markets with, low interest rates and money printing and all that kind of fun stuff that we love here in America. It's nothing else to say. Hey, Junes, how you do it, man? How you do it? So I think we're going to be good to go. Let's first take a look at the gappers because there are some earnings plays that are running around out there. Then we'll get this thing going. Good. All right, cool. And Dave, thanks everybody for popping in yesterday. Fun webinar as always. I'm not seeing anything out here, so I think the number one gapper for today is going to be APLS. If you look at the weekly chart on APLS, this is a weekly chart. You've got yourself a breakout here at the breakout to like pretty much its all-time highs was at like 30. I'd say like it was at like 30-ish, 33 maybe, 33, 34. Marv, what's good? What's good, man? Haha. Yeah, I am a Fast and Furious typer for some reason. So you got a 33 breakout. We're busting over here. Now, we've got some news out this morning. So Pellis Pharmaceutical reports positive top-line results from phase 3 study of pegdiclopeplan. Hey, say that 6 times in a row. Pegdiclopeplan. Man, why they gotta even name stuff like that, man? That's messed up. Hey, Jason, what's up, man? All right, so you got some news out on this bad boy. It's got a 26 million share float. You're breaking out to IPO high. So it's an IPO from 2018, end of 2017. I consider anything really in under 24 months as a recent IPO. So you got low float, you got a recent IPO, and then in general, the two sectors that really work well for breakouts are biotechs and tech stocks in general. Those are always the two best, all right? So when you go into this and you see something like that, man, you're gonna, you've got like a perfect storm of something that can really move. We've seen this before with some of these ones, these higher priced biotech stocks like that are like in the 30, 40s, they start to skip dollars because they're a little bit higher price, and then the float on them is really low, so they can move really move fast. Now, the issue I'm finding with this one is that we've already faded back like $6 in the pre-market. I prefer, and hopefully, we've got 24 minutes. I'd prefer, man, it's like I got a wiener in my mouth, right? I'd prefer this thing hold here at the bottom of the breakout bar and then start to curl its way higher. If it can, then we're gonna have ourselves a nice thing. Now, if this thing just starts to fade back, we just leave it alone. We just leave it alone and say like, all right, well, we didn't get any fun today, and just leave it alone. It does have the juice though, man. If we could get this thing 44, 45 even. By the end of this morning, by 9:30, we're going to be in really, really good shape on this one. And if it fades, it fades. What are we going to do? All this other stuff is junk. ADXS. This could work. You got 4 million shares in volume. It's up about 34%. It's a biotech stock. This one's got room to about 220 today before it runs into any kind of resistance. So you got room to run. So if you like the little small guys, man, it just sounds so perverted when I say it like that. If you like these kind of names, this one does have a little bit of room. If you're looking back, they did a 1-to-15 reverse split this year. So when you get the stocks that do the inverse splits, what they're essentially doing is they're propping up the price and then they're lowering the float. So the float on this, a TC2000 listed at 617,000. I think it's going to be higher than that. They got to probably account for the splits and stuff. Trade ideas as they're listed at 49. It's going to be pretty low. If you look here, this is a pump and dump stock though, so don't get too caught up in this thing, right? You can see this thing's just nasty downtrend, and they're gonna try to pump this thing. They'll probably then sell some shares or do something. The volume was ticking up the last few days. We'll see. You got 4 million shares. That's a lot of volume. You're gonna start turning over that float really, really quick. So if you like small caps, you could add that one in. This time is gonna be a turd. You could mortgage that house, Patrick, as long as you put it on YouTube when you jump off a cliff. You'll make money for your kids. Canif is another one that's starting to peak up. Chuck, what are you watching? I see you typing, Creepy McGee. My man. This Canif could work. You've got room to 6 on this one. You got a nice base on this one. 1-to-15 reverse split on this. Also, if you look, they got about 200,000 shares of volume. That's really light, though. I want to see, if I'm going to trade a small cap stock, I need to see like 1 million plus in the pre-market. I think that's where you got the sweet spot. The rest of this stuff is just junk. There is there was a nice PR in APA today that they reported significant oil discovery offshore in Suriname, which is, somewhere not in America. But if you're looking at its daily chart here, you've got, first of all, it's been nuzzled against this 200 SMA for a while, but it's going to take it out. And you can see this 30 level is really, really important. So if you can kind of come out of this zone, this kind of 29, 30-ish zone, which it is right now, I think that you could really have kind of a release point in this one. You got a nice steady trender on this one in the pre-market. My issue on this one is going to be twofold. Number one is it's 374 million share float, so it's going to trade a little bit thick. That's okay. Thick is okay. At the open, it won't matter. At the open, if a stock's going to go, it's just going to go. It's more the float comes in more midday. It'll just start to trade real, real thick, and then you just don't see the action on it. The other one is its oil name, right? Oil stocks aren't necessarily the funnest to trade, so you got to kind of just keep mind of that one too. All right, let's narrow this all down. Oh shit. All right. And add APA. Cool. You know what? I do got OSTK on my list too. We'll go over that in a hot second. So I'm not seeing any other real gappers that I'd want to play. You're just getting a lot of penny poppers with no volume here, which is not going to really do anything. So leave those alone. On the downside, there's nothing, but it doesn't matter. There's a lot of shreds going on in the market. So let's talk about the two. We'll start from the favorites to the non-favorites. All right, STC. On watch today for red to green. You had sick range on this one. 21.6 million shares in volume on this. If you look at STC, hold on here. The float on it's 75 million, but you got a lot of shorts in this. So the news came out yesterday. They got a deal with the Walmarts. It popped this thing up, at 28.5% short float. That's going to be like 20, 30% of 75% is like, let's say, 25 million shares short. So we had a big pop in volume yesterday. We probably got a couple days of, letting this thing squeeze out to kind of let the shorts cover on this bad boy. Days to cover, 2.64. So I think we got a secondary move on this one. You get 39.1 million shares. You got a flat to weak open on this one. Watch this 10 spot. If this 10 zone holds, you can see here that was the breakout spot yesterday. If you remember yesterday, there was a monster seller just parked in at 10, and then they took him out, and then this thing was just off to the races. So he had a fake flag. It popped to the VWAP. There's a big fat seller sitting at 10. They took him out, and then it was off to the races. If this stock can just hold that 10 zone at some point today, if it's just meandering around at that 10 spot, watch and see this thing. If it starts to curl to the upside, you're going to go, because you got a lot of shorts still probably left in this one. I'm sure a good chunk of them covered yesterday, because any news like with something like a Walmart type of thing, that's just big news. It doesn't really matter what happens. It just reads really well. Second par. Second, number 2 for the day. Patrick just mentioned this. Thank you, Patrick. OSTK on the squeeze zone here. OSTK on the squeeze zone. So if you think about OSTK, first of all, you're coming out of a big base. So you got a monster base on this one. Big update on this, up $1. You're sitting right at the 50 SMA. Guys, usually the 50 SMA is like the line in the sand on a particular name, all right? When you look at bottoming plays, stocks that are have been pummeled, and then they're starting to show some bottoming. Usually that 50 SMA comes in really nice. You had good uptick in volume. Now this is not like an easy trader. You can see the way it's a little herky-jerky at times. But I think that this one, frankly, we can put this on the list. I think anything, as long as it holds over 820, that's your 50 SMA, you're going to be good to go on this one. Yeah, you look at how many shorts are on this one. So the float on this is tiny. 26 million shares. But look what you got here. 38.87% of the float is short, meaning people are betting against it. So these people got to cover. You only had about 4 million shares in volume yesterday, so you've got more room for this thing to go. Yeah. The second part is, OSTK tends to run when Bitcoin and stuff runs. We saw a really nice push in Bitcoin, Ethereum. I'm in a whole shitload of these things. Link, BTC, and ETH. They were all pumping yesterday. They're just doing their kind of once every few months pump squeeze. So that also will give it a little bit of wind at its back. So you got STC. You got OSTK. Number 3. I like this LK for a potential bounce. So you got a nice push. Hey, Bonsi, email me. I'll help you out with that stuff. All my uncles and cousins trade the Nifty. You pop up. You got a nice, easy 3-day pullback. So you got a breakout. See the old flag pattern here? So there's a breakout, pullback to price support, and you got your 20 SMA here. So you got multiple levels of support, which is essentially like a super support. In trading, if you have convergence, meaning you have 2 levels hold up around the same area, that adds a little bit extra probability to that support holding. The other thing is in trading, if you have convergence in patterns, where say you have a flag pattern and a VWAP all kind of converging all at once, that adds extra power to it. So I think this one can bounce. My worry on this one is that there's been a big uptick in sell volume the last couple days when we look and measure probability in trading. So you're measuring 2 things always in trading that are really important. Number 1, you're measuring probability. What are the odds that a trade can work? And the second part is of every trade, you're measuring risk, right? So you're measuring probabilities, then you're measuring risk. You're marrying them into something to see if this trade is worth your time or your money. So when you have larger volume on the pullback than the ramp up, that takes away some of the probability of the pullback. So say like this type of pattern has like a 60% win ratio for yourself. Well, if the volume is upticking and you're starting to see signs of distribution, that could take away, say, 10% extra probability on it. So now like it may turn into something a little bit different. So your high probability trade becomes like kind of a 50-50 trade. And now you're just essentially doing a reward to risk type of scenario versus, right, marrying high probability with also a good RR. So I do think this has got a good RR on it, but I'm a little bit concerned on the pullback, the volume on the pullback. So we'll see on this one too. But I like that. That's number 3. All right. Maxer, I take Maxer out for now. I'm watching this RH for a potential swing trade here. If this thing can kind of come back. So we got 2 levels of support here. The lower Bollinger Band and the 50 SMA. When you think about trading, so like, you know, I'm always, one thing that we do every Sunday is what do? We do momentum sort. So a big part of momentum sorting is like you have to understand what are the top 100 stocks that show like pure momentum in the markets and things that you like to trade. So like you see on here, like we have a 90-day sort, 30-day sort, 5-day sort, year-to-day sort, 6-month sort, and then I've got a 12-month sort on this too, using a little bit of a different formula. So RH is, you know, basically it's at 115. So it's at, you know, it's in the top 100 of momentum names for what I like to personally track and trade. Anytime I see like anything that's in the top 100 of my momentum list, if it's pulling back to like a big level like the 50 SMA, these can be like really, really key spots to potentially get long into a longer swing trade, like a swing trade where you might hold it for a handful of weeks. Always study the top 100 to 200, you know, stocks. You know, rate them by 90-day, 30-day, but the 90-day is probably the most important if you're swinging. But like, always study the top 100s of these. These are the ones, if you were just like, if I was going to build out a system of trading, if I was brand new and if I was going to build out a system of trading that was just really, really simple, I would focus in, I would study momentum. I would sort by momentum starting at 90 days and the top 100 stocks, you know, and look for either consolidation patterns or pullback patterns in those top 100 names. That's probably the best way to build an account when you're brand new, is by focusing on pure momentum. So you focus in on those things. So RH is coming back to a really nice level here. And you can see it's been pretty orderly. The volume's been fairly light on the pullback. It's been orderly for the most part. Like, I think there's 2 things. If it either taps into the 50 and holds, I'm in, or if it remounts this 9 EMA, I like that too. That will trigger a potential swing, and I would swing this thing back up into the 250s if I can get it. Big part of my goals for 2020 is to, you know, double up on my swing trading if this market can hold like this, because frankly, in this market, like, you can sit there and take like, you know, $1 on a Roku or an Apple here, there, but man, there's a lot of money to be made on taking like 20, 30, 40 point rippers. So keep RH on the watch list. Now, if you like small caps, this INSG, this thing is hot. So this is a 5G company. They do 5G telephones. You know, 5G is going to be the hottest thing around in the next year. Apple's already talking about it. One of the reasons the Apple stock is flying is they're going to be just balls deep in the 5G game, right? Everybody's 5G this, 5G that. INSG's a provider in this. You saw a beautiful flag pattern, by the way. Man, popped up 12%. Uptick in volume, very nice trender. I think this has got to be on the top of your watch list. I love this name. I don't like small caps. I don't consider this necessarily a small cap. It trades like a regular stock. It just happens to be fairly cheap. So that's number 4. Number 5, ENPH. ENPH got a nice little consolidation over here. Beautiful reversal yesterday. I want to see my stocks do reversals. When you get something like that, it's good. Now, you're getting a strong open on this one. If it gets strong open on this one, let it thrust up, pull back to the 9 or 20 EMA at the open, and you're good to go. JNUG. Man, the Nugalicious it's holding here. Watch this 9 EMA. If it can hold this 9 EMA spot and come out of this consolidation zone, I'm really thinking the Nugs got maybe 100 tapper in this one. Who knows how it'll act around 100, but we definitely got 100 tapper in this bad boy. It's going to be pretty good. So those are the top ones. The rest of this stuff is okay. But I think LK, RH, INSG, the J to the Nug, and then we got a couple gappers over here that are working. We're going to be good to go. Crowd. Definitely keep crowd on a watch for a day 3 move. Crowd's got room up to 60. You cannot ignore the volume on this thing. See, what do you guys notice here? The stock was doing about 4 million, 2 million, 3 million, 2.6, 5. Look at this day, 2, 3. So it's doing like 3-4 million shares a day in volume, right? And then what do you got here? 8.7. Bam. What do you got yesterday? 21.7. So you got expanding volume. This stock, they do, who knows what they do, but like this, the volume is starting to push. We've been talking about this on the YouTubes and in the chat rooms forever, right? If this thing can clear over 51, it's got that compression that it can go. I think you're going to get some action on its way up to 60. Let's get this thing going. I like this one. You got finally some liquidity and range on this bad boy. This one looks pretty damn good. As always, I appreciate everybody coming into the webinar yesterday. We had a little bit of fun. We had a little bit of pizza. And, we start boot camp class in 2 weeks. So, if anybody wants to chat about it, just let me know. For our past students that have been in it, as always, you guys are welcome back to come in and retake class as many times as you need. And, yes, I owe a couple people some hats. A couple people some hats. Make sure to DM me your addresses. I'll send you guys the hats. And yeah, definitely if anybody wants to chat about class or their goals for 2020, you let me know. I got you. Good, Miss Mitch. How you doing? Rick, what's up, baby? Yeah. I think the replay should be... The replay should be on our actual, it'll be on the YouTube channel. Rock and roll. All right, guys, this market is a money-making market. There's no getting around it. If you are not getting the results that you need, you got to get with me. Anybody in the chat room, if you are not getting the results that you need, you got to get with me because this market is giving opportunities all over the place. There's really no reason not to be shredding consistently and shredding hard. So make sure you get with me. Damien, good job trading the last couple weeks. Glenn, good job trading the last couple weeks. Shreyas, good job trading the last couple weeks. Brad, Taylor, everybody, man. You guys notice Taylor, even though he's got the really creepy name in the chat room, Auctions Succubus. He's been shredding so hard, man. He's been shredding hard. You guys give Taylor some props, man. He's been crushing it. He said he even bought himself like some VR headset to watch like VR porn. The Sunday Huddle was posted. Good. But I ain't going to spend any time looking for it. You know that. You know that, my friend. Good. All right, man, let's go do what we do. Let's have some fun today. Let's make quick work out of all of this. Man, we stayed at the computer a little bit past lunch yesterday. That's a little bit past my bedtime. All right, let's go do what we do. Cool. Man, let's shred. Yes, sir. And guys, as always, if you are enjoying these YouTubes, give me a little thumbs up, leave a comment. I always appreciate the support. Let's go do what we do. If I could turn back